Hi, my name is Kristen Niceraldo, and this is number 2 in a series of workshops for independent restaurants in the wake of COVID-19. And as you can see, we've been focusing on some topics. This particular session is going to focus on menu. This is brought to you by me and my company, The Friday Guide. We also have a wonderful ally that came to us with an interest in reaching out to independent bars and restaurants, and that is Melio. Melio is a way to make payments between businesses. We have just 2 slides from them really quickly to introduce Melio to you. First of all, Melio makes it super easy to pay. You add your bill, pay the bill by either ACH, debit card, or credit card, and then your vendor gets a check. It's that easy. The great thing about Melio Payments is that it lets you pay bills by credit card to vendors that don't allow credit card payments. And I don't think I have to press that too much for you restaurant and bar owners to know what an asset something like that could be. Never mind the fact that if you pay something COD, with a credit card, suddenly you essentially have 30 to 45 days to actually pay it with cash on your credit card with no interest. So in this time of uncertainty, it can give you the flexibility to pay with a credit card where you might otherwise not be able to. And secondly, it can give you the extended terms that people right now might not be offering to new clients, let alone existing clients. So please support our ally by going to meliopayments.com and giving them a look. It's free to sign up and look around. The fees are extensively reasonable, like they're just ridiculously reasonable. And again, thanks Melio for being an ally for independent bars and restaurants. Now, might not need Melio if you're not continuing to serve, but for a lot of people, the idea of turning their fine dining or sit-down establishment into one that does takeout or pick up like solely seems a very high hill to climb. So what we're going to go over today is just a couple of ideas about menu mobility, just making over your menu so it can fit that dine-in menu to a suddenly takeout world. The first thing I want you to think about is, before you do anything else, is what are you best at? What is your restaurant's signature dish, the thing people always come back for, the special way you plate, your service points that you're especially proud of? Just what makes people identify with your restaurant? Please keep these in mind as you're looking at your menu. The temptation can be to go out and try and replicate what people have been doing with takeout for years that's worked. But keep in mind, the takeouts of the past were competing with you, the sit-down restaurant. So there's not sit-down restaurants for a lot of us anymore, which means now suddenly, if you became just like a takeout restaurant, then there's no variety. So please just remember what you're good at, what people like you for, and go from there. Just keep it in mind during this presentation. Number 1, for goodness sake, start small. For goodness sake, start small. Depending on the size of your menu, you don't have to do it all. If people are coming to you, it's because they have something in mind, a favorite, so start there. Start with your most popular dishes or the ones that really define you. You might get a better translation between what people used to order in sit down versus pickup if you're sticking to those tried and true sort of go-to items. It also will keep your costs down, not just in actual costs, but in how much you have to have on hand and how long you can keep those things. And then also think about, your dishes don't actually have to be exact replicas of what you did in restaurant. Think about doing dishes that echo what you did in restaurant, so that just have a little twist, or maybe are sort of made friendly for to-go. And that's actually the next thing. What stays yummy after it's traveled in a car, basically? What stays yummy after it's sat for a minute? What's reheatable? What is easy to transport? What doesn't basically wilt and die? Think about this. Anything that you wouldn't let sit on the pass for 10 minutes and still serve with a quick reheat or a quick cool down shouldn't necessarily go as is in a takeout situation, because it's not going to be good. It's not going to say good things about your restaurant. Remember, if people are coming to you, they're coming to you to remember what they are missing with the other takeouts. So give them what they want, but make sure that what you're giving them is a good quality thing. We all know some items last better than others. Just keep that in mind. Which ingredients work overtime? And I don't just mean like overtime, I mean overtime, like time and a half. Think about the variety of ingredients in your menu and maybe looking to scale those down. Taking the to-go menu as an opportunity to refine the ingredient list, and by doing that, having less money in your pantry, less money in your walk-in, more money in your bank. Having the repurpose of ingredients among several different dishes makes it easier to control costs. It reduces spoilage. And frankly, it lends a sense of cohesiveness to your menu. That doesn't mean only use 5 ingredients. It just means make sure you've got some consistency there and that it's something that you can maintain on hand. A lot of times people get over sort of ambitious. You want to recreate your restaurant. You want things to be as good as they were even a few weeks ago. But please don't forget that you're dealing probably with a skeleton crew staff. If that, don't forget the prep time. Don't forget to take that into consideration when you're doing a revamp to a takeout menu. Not just because you want to save on labor and don't want things to be too intense, but also because you want to be able to get the food out quickly. That said, don't make everything so reliant on prepping beforehand that you can't respond if you have a rush. Also, you want to consider the shelf life, the freshness. In fact, I would even suggest that for things like produce, you go out and buy those as you need it, maybe every other day, so that if you have high points, low points, you're not a slave to delivery, and you're also not seeing stuff wilt on the shelves. Oh, containers. I did this slide deck, just a couple of days ago, and since then, containers are like gold because everyone's moving to go. So although if you can, I would still encourage you to invest in the right containers. Please know that at this point, you may have to take the containers that you can get. But that doesn't mean that you can't prioritize still a good arrival state and a cared for first impression. What does that mean? It means a neat, clean bag, maybe investing in a vacuum sealer to put napkins and utensils in. Just those little touches that make it seem like freshness and a commitment to safety is the top of your restaurant's mind. And it doesn't ever hurt to make reheating easy and storage effective. Some of the people that might be ordering from you might be families who are just looking for something to order really quick. They might be planning on eating leftovers. All of those containers, making it easy for them to participate with you in this to-go project for your restaurant is absolutely the way to go. So just keep in mind how things are going to arrive, what that first impression is when they open the bag. To that end, there is more than one kind of takeout. This is actually a picture of one of my clients. He has a beautiful restaurant right on the beach. He's doing to-go orders, but it occurred to me, not all those to-go's might be going home with those people in their cars. They might be taking that box and going and sitting on the beach and eating. You know, in most places, there's no prohibitions against going outside, enjoying nature, just being outside for a while. I think as we move along through this period in our country, there's going to be more and more of a pull to just spend time outside, spend time in the open air. And if you are a restaurant near an open space, absolutely take advantage of making it easy for people to come to your restaurant, get a picnic basket of sorts, and enjoy being outside for a while. Particularly families with kids, this can be a real lifesaver. And you leaning into how proximate you are to those kinds of places can really set you apart. To that end, with families, there's more than one way to pick up dinner. Your competition isn't other takeout. As I said, it's your former restaurant. And as we move through this period of time, people are going to become more and more sick of having the same old thing. And let's face it, not as many people cook these days, despite the prevalence of cooking shows. However, everyone's interested in food. So why not make it easy for them to participate in their own dinner by offering to-go family styles, pre-prepped, cook-at-home versions of things that will translate well, like meatloaf, lasagna, maybe even just individual ingredients like meatballs. It would be a fantastic way for families to still feel cooked together and have family time where they sit down and have a meal, but not constantly be eating fast food. In addition, as we move through this time, there might be more and more and more of an emphasis on quarantine behavior. And so having an offering that isn't cooked, that someone can cook in their house, they can have that feeling of, okay, I got this stuff, but then I killed anything surrounding it because I cooked it at home. There's just that extra added layer of safety about food when they're the ones that are the last people to touch it. I mean, a lot of this might not make a huge difference in practice, but it might make a huge difference psychologically. Again, just setting your restaurant apart from other offerings. And finally, it doesn't hurt to do what you do best and only what you do best. That might mean offering just a little retail version of something that you do well, like a particular spice rub for barbecue or French fries. Maybe I have an example in this slide, maybe you dip your ice cream cone, the actual cones, in chocolate with sprinkles. Well, you might not want to sell ice cream to go, but you can sell a pack of the cones so people can do that at home. The point is, by leaning into something that people really know you for and finding a way for them to take a little piece of you home with them, you are not only giving yourself some extra income, you're also keeping connected to the people who were your fans before this crisis and will continue to be your fans afterward. You're reminding them of why they like you. No one's gonna backwards engineer your barbecue sauce. If they do, like, more power to them. But having those things available, what you get out of those people remaining connected to you is priceless. So whatever makes you special, just lean in. Finally, I just want to say, your customers want to help you. This is a crazy time and everything's changing every single second. They don't want to not be your ally, your friend. They don't want to not be supportive, but everyone is also very scared. And sometimes people need to know what they can do. But beyond that, food is very connected to our everyday lives. And with everything changing, providing customers, particularly regulars, a way to reconnect with some of their routine, to remember something from a time that was less of an upheaval, it really will continue that touchstone that you've been in their lives up to now. You're a part of your customer's routine. You are unlike anyone else. You're an independent restaurant. You're a touchstone for people. If you show them how to do that with the food that they remember, they will arrive to help you. This might mean having specials every Friday if you always had specials every Friday. It might mean having on your website the particular music that you played in your dining room that was unique to you. Just again, think of those things that if someone was to describe your restaurant, the things they would say first, the things that they would say were unique about you. And see if you can't find echoes of those things in your food, in your packaging, in your website, in your design of your menu, in the little extras you include in the bag. If your big thing was the way you served your food and all the pretty garnishes, don't give them up. Even though not all of them might be eaten, it still is reminiscent of what people remember. I know this is an intensely scary time, but I think that everyone that can pivot, can find a way to pivot, should. Just don't give up. I know that sometimes the smartest thing to do is close, and I respect that. And I know that you all are making very, very hard decisions out there. But if you are feeling like, gosh, I wish I could pivot, it's just, I don't know what to do with this menu. I don't know how this translates. We're here at the Friday Guide to help you. We will be having a series of workshops, just drop-in workshops surrounding this topic. One of our friends of the Friday Guide is actually my husband, who is an ex-chef. And he has graciously offered to, in his off time, help people with their menus, review their menus, if you are so inclined. We are just rallying all our resources, all the people that care about this community that we can find to really step up and make it easy. Again, I know you guys are scrappy. You would have thought of all of these ideas. You probably have seen some on here, or maybe even most that you've already thought of. This isn't to say that you need all this information because you don't know how to run your restaurant. This is a reminder. This is a reminder of who you are, and to be reminded for you to remember who you are and that you can do this, and just that we're here for you. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the chat area, and I'll be happy to answer those. I will also be posting links and updates on our upcoming open hours for these kinds of things. And stay strong out there, stay safe out there, and stay yourself out there. And together we can save food and beverage. We'll talk soon. Thanks all.